So I'm on page 6 with you guys now, and I'm going to go over the area problem of this rectangle, and then I'm going to teach you guys how to distribute, then combine like terms, which is all simplifying, and then we're going to be ready to drop the line and solve. But first, let's take a look at number 3. We are told that the rectangle has the dimensions in feet, as shown in this figure. So the length here is 2x plus 5, and the width here is 8. Or if you want to think of this as the width and this is the length, it really doesn't matter. We know that for multiplication that this is commutative. And so because of wanting to show 8 times where we distribute, I'm actually going to let this one be the length here and this be the width. And so I'm going to basically be taking this 8 and I'm going to be multiplying it by this width right here. All right. So we're told that if the area is 160, so if I multiply 8 by this, the area here is supposed to be 160 square feet. So if we are told the area is the 160, notice I plugged that in for A. And then for the formula, I've just got my length times my width. So now I'm ready to distribute. 8 times 2x becomes 16x. 8 times 5 becomes 40. And then we're ready to drop the line and solve. Now I want to remind you guys that what I'm trying to show you right here is an application to why you'd want to distribute and then solve. When multiplying area of a rectangle, it's length times width. And so I'm showing that it's an 8 times our unknown, which is an algebraic expression. So if we're given the area, we can actually work backwards and solve for x, which means we can also find the width. All right. Now when we distribute, we got the 16x minus the 40. So I subtract 40 on both sides. This cancels out. And over here I get 120. Now I'm ready to divide both sides by my coefficient. And when I divide 120 by 16, we get that x has to be a 7.5. Now in my calculator, real quick, I'm going to show you guys that if you know the original area is 160, go ahead and just divide it by the 8. And you know that this side right here has to be a 20. This side must be 20 because 8 by 20, let me write this in right here, 8 by 20 would be the 160. So if we know 8 by 20 is 160, we know that this guy right here should be a 20. So if this is a 7.5, 2 times 7.5 in the calculator, and now I'm going to add 5. Boom, we know that this is the right answer. 7.5 is the right answer for x because when I plugged it in, I did get a 20 here, and 20 times 8 works out to be 160. So this is an application of the distributive property using geometry where we are using the area formula of a rectangle. All right, now this next part is the final kind of thing that I'm going to show you where we have variables still all on one side. This is kind of as tough as it can get while we still have variables on one side. Now I want to point out that I've already talked to you guys about when you're looking at a numerical expression, we multiply and then we add. So on this page of our notes, that's why it says we distribute first, then combine like terms, because distributing is a multiplying thing and combining like terms is adding and subtracting. All right. So let me walk you guys through this first example. We have a negative 9 times 6 plus n, parentheses. Now subtract 2n would equal negative 10. So on this side over here, our goal is to get this down to 2 terms, okay? And first we're going to distribute and then we're going to combine like terms. So first I've got the negative 9 times this 6 right here. That's how I got my negative 54. And now I've got negative 9 times n, so I've got a negative 9n. That takes care of the distributive part. Now I've just brought down my minus 2n equals negative 10. And now I'm ready to combine like terms. So I've got this negative 9n minus 2n is negative 11n. And notice I just have my constant. The negative 54 is still my constant, negative 54. Now, folks, we have simplified this expression to just our 2 terms. And now we are ready to drop the line and solve. You're going to subtract the 54 on both sides, and that cancels out. And we're going to add 54 on both sides for this to cancel out. And negative 10 plus 54 is 44. Now, since my coefficient's this negative 11, we're going to divide both sides by negative 11, and n here equals negative 4. Now I'm going to show you guys how to check this. We're going to have a negative 9, parentheses, 6 plus negative 4 in parentheses. And now, since I have parentheses, I'm going to go back and change this to bracket. And then we have minus 2 parentheses negative 4. We've plugged it in for the two places we see n, and now our goal is to simplify and make sure we get this negative 10. So inside this bracket, 6 plus negative 4 is the same as 6 minus 4, so I get a 2. And then I have times my negative 9, and then I have minus 2 times negative 4. Now this part right here, if you see the negative 2 times the negative 4, then you already see the plus 8. Now, not everybody sees that. Some of you see that you have a minus, and then you see this 2 times negative 4, which is a negative 8. But a minus negative would still turn into a plus 8 right here. So no matter what, we get a plus 8 right there. Now this front part, negative 9 times 2, is a negative 18. So our negative 18 plus 8 is a negative 10, and that's exactly what we were hoping. So we know our answer for n being a negative 4 is correct. So friendly reminder, to pull this off, here are your steps. First, you must distribute, because that's multiplying. Then you combine like terms, because that's adding or subtracting. Then you have this two-step equation left to solve for your variable. And the final thing I did right here was I plugged it in and I checked my answer using that original equation. So the goal again would be to stop the video now or hit pause and be able to try these examples on your own. But if you want to watch, that's fine. So for number 1 here, I'm distributing. I've got 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times negative 11 is my negative 55. So that takes care of the distributive step. Now I'm ready to combine like terms, and 10 minus 3 is positive 7x, and then I just bring down my negative 55. Since I now have two terms, I'm ready to drop the line and solve. I'm going to add 55 on both sides to get rid of the constant, and negative 41 plus 55 is my 14. Now I'm going to divide both sides by the 7 to get rid of the coefficient, and x is by itself, and we get that x is 2. For the next one. This one we actually have to distribute twice. So first, in blue, I get 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 sets of 4y would be 12y's. Now in red, I'm distributing a negative 2 times 5y, that's negative 10y, and a negative 2 times a negative 3 is a positive 6. Now I'm ready to combine like terms. I've got 12y's minus 10y's, that's where I'm getting 2y. And 3 plus 6 is a positive 9. So I've now combined like terms, and I'm ready to drop the line and solve. I'm going to subtract 9 on both sides to get rid of the constant. 25 minus 9 is 16. Now I've got 2y equals that 16, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2 to get that y would be 8. And that concludes the video on how to distribute and then combine like terms, then drop the line and solve for page 6. Thank you.